Welcome to Breaking News to Trading Moves. Today, we're looking at a specific view on the future of AI and robotics.
Yeah, this comes from some recent analysis from ARK Invest, really spurred by comments from Cathie Wood. And our aim is to, well, analyze what this knowledge might mean for different sectors and companies, looking at potential growth areas.
And also where there might be some pressure, right, based on the research they shared.
Exactly.
So the central idea, the thing that grabbed attention, it came from remarks at the Future Investment Initiative in Riyadh. Cathie Wood stated that humanoid robots represent the, quote, biggest of all embodied AI opportunities.
Even bigger than robotaxis, she suggested.
Which is quite a claim. We need to understand, well, why they see that potential as being so broad.
It is quite a claim.
Yeah.
And I think to get it, we have to clarify what embodied AI really means here. It's about taking AI off the screen.
And putting it into the physical world.
Precisely. Giving it arms, legs, the ability to interact. A robotaxi, well, it's mostly about getting from A to B, locomotion in a pretty controlled space.
But a humanoid robot.
That's designed for manipulation. It's meant to work in messy, unstructured environments. It could pick things up, stock shelves, maybe help someone at home.
That physical dexterity working in our world, not just on roads.
That's exponentially more complex. And that's why the thinking is the potential market is just much, much broader than only transportation.
Okay, so the complexity is where the opportunity lies. But here's the catch, right? The analysis points out demand really takes off only if two things happen.
That's right. Costs have to come down, way down, and reliability needs to go up. Way up.
Makes sense. If a human worker costs, what, $30,000, $50,000 a year?
The robot, over its whole lifespan, buying it, running it, fixing it has to eventually cost less than that. Otherwise, why switch on a massive scale?
And we're not there yet.
Oh, no, we're still a ways off from that kind of cost parity. But you can see why people are looking ahead given where these could be used.
We're talking beyond the usual industrial settings, not just car factories.
Yeah, the potential expansion is key. Think retail, putting items on shelves. Think logistics, packing complex orders, and maybe the biggest, most complex area, elder care, personal assistance. If AI robots can function safely and effectively in those very human, very dynamic places, the economic impact could be quite large.
Okay, but before we get to the winners, let's touch on that note of caution. Wood apparently warned about a short-term reality check.
Yes, and that's important. It ties back to the complexity we just talked about.
Right.
The hype is often ahead of the current tech. These are incredibly difficult systems to build and make reliable, and they're expensive right now.
So bumps in the road.
Definitely. Engineering challenges, maybe some deployments don't go as planned, companies burning through a lot of R&D money before they really crack it. It's not an overnight success story. It's a long game.
Okay, that sets the stage well. Risk and opportunity. So, assuming these hurdles are eventually cleared, the research points to three kinds of companies that could really benefit. Let's talk winners.
Yeah, we can group them into three layers. Starting at the top, category 1, humanoid platforms and the big-scale adopters.
Okay, and the names mentioned here are Tesla, ticker TSLA.
TSLA.
And Amazon, ticker AMZN.
AMZN.
So why these two specifically as platforms or big adopters?
Well, they represent two sides of the coin, sort of.
Yeah.
Tesla, with Optimus, is trying to build the general-purpose robot itself. They're leveraging their car manufacturing know-how.
And their AI work from self-driving cars, presumably?
Exactly, the FSD stack.
Yeah.
That AI is already trained to perceive and navigate the real world, so they're building the brain and the body. That's the platform approach.
And Amazon, they're maybe less about selling robots to others initially.
Right. Amazon is the potential giant adopter. Think about their warehouses, their logistics network. It's already one of the most automated systems globally.
Yep.
So integrating humanoids there to do the fiddly tasks current robots can't handle, that's a huge internal need. They'd be their own biggest customer, essentially, which drives volume if the tech works.
Got it. Build it or use it at massive scale. Okay, let's move down a layer. Category 2, AI, compute, and inference at the edge. Names are NVIDIA.
NVDA.
NVDA and advanced micro devices.
AMD.
Why are they key?
This is the processing power. A humanoid robot, you can think of it as a mobile AI data center on legs.
Okay.
It needs massive training, sure, usually done in the cloud with powerful chips. That's NVIDIA's bread and butter already. But the crucial part is what happens on the robot.
It has to think for itself quickly. Can't wait for signals from the cloud for every little move.
Precisely. That's inference at the edge, real-time decision-making. To do that, you need specialized hardware inside the robot, powerful but efficient GPUs, specific chips called edge SoCs, AI accelerators.
So every robot sold is potentially more high-end chips sold.
You got it. It creates this whole new demand stream for companies like NVIDIA and AMD who are already leaders in this kind of advanced computing.
Seems pretty fundamental no matter which robot platform wins out eventually.
Okay, let's get to the physical parts. Category 3, sensors, power electronics, and motion control.
Yeah, this is the stuff that lets the robot see, move, and manage its power. The eyes, muscles, and nerves, if you like. Humanoids need a lot of components. High-volume cameras, sensors to perceive depth and distance, really responsive motor drivers for smooth joint movement, and efficient power management to keep them running.
And the analysis highlights U.S. chip makers with ties to the auto or industrial sectors.
Yeah.
Why that connection?
Well, think about cars or factory equipment. They need parts that are reliable, durable, can handle tough conditions, maybe heat or vibration.
Right, high standards.
Exactly. And those sectors already use huge volumes of these kinds of robust components. So companies like ON Semiconductor, ticker ON, and Monolithic Power Systems, ticker MPWR.
They're already big players in power chips and sensors for automotive and industrial uses. It makes them a natural fit to supply the demanding parts needed for robots.
Okay, that paints a picture of the potential beneficiaries, the platforms, the brains, the components. Now, what about the other side? If this automation accelerates, who feels the pressure? The research identifies 3 areas, too.
Yeah, it's the classic pattern, isn't it? When new tech comes in, older models based on, well, manual labor for routine stuff can get squeezed.
So, category 1 for potential pressure.
Yeah.
Hemp staffing and light industrial labor suppliers. Names like Manpower Group, ticker MAN.
M-A-N.
And Kelly Services, KELYA.
Kelya. Yeah, think about why companies use temp labor. Often it's for repetitive tasks, assembly lines, packing, warehouse work, stuff that scales up and down.
Right.
If a robot can eventually do that work 247, no breaks, no benefits, and crucially, at a lower total cost.
Then the demand for temporary human workers for those specific roles goes down.
Over time, yes. It potentially weakens the pricing power of those staffing agencies for those kinds of jobs. Automation becomes the go-to for optimizing those routine tasks.
Directly tied to that cost parity point we talked about earlier.
Okay.
Category 2 under pressure, BPO and contact center outsourcing. Firms like T-Tech Holdings, TTEC,
TTEC.
and Tasksys, TASK.
TASK. Here the pressure comes from 2 directions, really. You've got AI software chatbots, virtual agents already handling more routine customer service online.
We've all interacted with those.
Yeah, but then add the possibility of embodied agents, actual humanoids, handling simple service tasks on site, maybe helping customers in a store, basic info, that sort of thing.
So fewer calls or interactions needing a human agent, whether they're remote or in person.
Exactly. Less volume overall for the simpler stuff, which puts pressure on the companies whose main business is supplying that human labor for contact centers and business process outsourcing. It could squeeze their margins.
All right. And the final category, facing pressure. Legacy material handling and facility services models. Companies like Hyster-Yale, HY, and ABM Industries, ABM.
ABM. These are companies often tied to traditional ways of doing things in physical spaces. Hyster-Yale, for example, is known for forklifts operated by humans. If warehouses increasingly use autonomous mobile robots or even humanoids to move materials, the demand for traditional manually operated forklifts could decline. They'd face pressure to adapt their offerings significantly.
And ABM Industries, they do facility services like cleaning, maintenance, security.
Right. Again, if autonomous cleaning robots become more effective and cheaper, or if humanoid robots can perform basic security patrols or checks.
Then the model based purely on deploying human staff for those roles gets challenged.
Exactly. Those service providers would need to pivot, incorporating automation into their services, or risk being undercut by newer competitors built around automation from the start.
What really stands out from this analysis is how it lays out a potential value transfer, away from models relying heavily on human labor for routine physical or service tasks.
And towards the companies building the core technology, the robots, the chips, the AI, or the ones who can integrate it all at a massive scale.
Yeah, the idea seems to be that value could really concentrate in those enabling layers, assuming, and it's a big assumption, that the economics of humanoid robots eventually work out.
If they become reliable and cost-effective enough for widespread use, yeah. It suggests a potential reordering around who captures the value in these industries.
It really highlights how even complex physical work, the kind automation hasn't historically touched much, might be affected down the line. So here's something to think about, just based on this. If these humanoid robots do reach cost parity with human labor in, say, the next 10 years, what happens then? Will there be regulatory discussions about how quickly they get deployed? Who sets the rules?
That's a really complex question, isn't it? The intersection of economics, technology, and social governance.
Definitely something to ponder. Now, just to be clear, everything we've discussed today is based purely on the commentary and research provided regarding this view on embodied AI's future.
That's right. And the standard disclaimer applies. This isn't financial advice. We're not making buy or sell recommendations. This is purely based on the author's opinion within the provided analysis.